The Warhammer Skulls Festival of Games is the biggest event for the year when it comes to Warhammer 40k video games. This is where we get to see a peek into what developers are working on, what new games are coming to the Warhammer universe, and updates to existing games that we all play and love. This year's Warhammer Skulls, which happened yesterday, is no different and came with a ton of announcements. But as you can imagine, it was a very long preview, so I'm here to break down the highlights and show you what's coming specifically for 40k. But I'm HoodGuard, and this is your Warhammer Skulls Festival of Video Games 2025 wrap-up. Let's get into it.
The Emperor's light is my torch! Death to the enemy! We shall be the end of you! Feel the might of the righteous! For the Emperor!
Alright my friends, everything that I'm going to talk about today you can find over on the Warhammer community site. And if you'd like to follow along and read these articles at your own leisure, I am going in the same order that's in the Warhammer Skulls article. First up, and riding the coattails of Space Marine 2, is a new edition of Space Marine 1. This edition is called Space Marine the Master Crafted Edition, and is already being considered as like the controversial opinion during the Skulls event. And the reason for that being is that it is not a full graphical overhaul, it's not a remaster of Space Marine. What they have given it are things like 4K visuals, updated character models, a modernized UI, and remastered audio. Which are great things, don't get me wrong, but creating an entire new edition of the game for these things seems a little predatory. And I think the success of the edition really depends on how much it's going to cost. How much are people willing to shell out for a half remaster? Especially with the sequel very fresh in people's minds and people still playing it. But it will be nice to finally have this in 4K, and the UI upgrades I've seen look really good. Next up, and probably the most exciting announcement for me, is a new game coming from Owlcat. If you're unfamiliar with Owlcat, they are the ones who created Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, an incredible CRPG. Well, this new game, Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy, is a spiritual successor rather than a sequel to Rogue Trader. It has the same CRPG elements, but this time you are following a coterie of inquisitorial agents rather than being a rogue trader yourself. It's still in that same CRPG style that Owlcat excels at, but it brings a whole new different aspect of the Warhammer 40k world to the gaming experience. Rogue Trader covers quite a bit of ground when it comes to Warhammer 40,000 lore, but it doesn't cover everything. And so when I was watching the Dark Heresy trailer and saw that they're going to have Kroot in here as well as a Kroot mercenary option, I was super excited for that. There was even a hint at the end of the trailer that the Night Lords might be a main antagonist of the game, and that is going to be awesome to see. Regular Chaos Space Marines are cool, don't get me wrong, but specifically Night Lord Space Marines are a level above. The new characters look cool, the enemy designs are disturbing in themselves, so I have high hopes for this game. Circling back to the topic of remasters and half remasters is the Dawn of War Definitive Edition. Now this is something that I think a lot of people were asking for, and I'm glad that they've delivered what they did. This new edition of the first Dawn of War game is going to have upgraded visuals, it's going to have an upgraded HUD and camera controls. And most importantly, it's been rebuilt on a 64-bit platform, so modders are going to have an easier time adopting their stuff to this game. My only critique of what I saw is that the visual upgrades didn't go as maybe far as you thought they might. The character models themselves are cleaner but not all too different. The biggest upgrades came with the backgrounds and the ambiance of the battlefields. But I still think that this was needed. The current edition of the game that's out runs horribly on modern PCs, so I'm hoping this will fix that issue. Now, an announcement in a trailer that I did not see coming at all was the reveal of Boltgun 2. And this is not some DLC, this is a full-fledged sequel to Boltgun. This game is going to start off right where Boltgun 1 left off, and it's going to feature a bunch of new weapons as well as enemies. What we saw in the trailer and what you can read in the article is that the bloodthirsty legions of Khorne are going to be a main antagonist. If you played the first Boltgun, you know that the main enemies that you were fighting were those of Tzeentch and Nurgle, and then Black Legion sprinkled throughout. Khornate demons, purely based on their animus and how they're designed, are excellent candidates for any enemy in a video game, so they're going to be awesome in this one. And it's only a matter of time at this point until we get some Slaanesh elements in these games and are able to fight some Noise Marines. And the best part about this reveal is that we won't have to wait long for this game, as it's coming in 2026. Sticking in the same Space Marine vein, there are some updates for Space Marine 2. This update is something that has been long awaited by the community and was promised to us in the roadmap. But finally, we are getting the Horde mode called the Siege mode in Space Marine 2. You and your battle brothers will drop in and face endless swarms of Tyranids on the planet of Kadaku. There will be all new enemies, there are brand new cosmetic packs coming for the White Scars and the Blood Angels, and there seems to be some type of stratagem mechanic where you'll be able to call on things like a Dreadnought to support you. This is the first big thing that was promised to us that Focus Entertainment is delivering on, and I'm excited to see what they did with the mode. Novel things like having a new part of the game to play sustain a game much longer than cosmetics, and I'm hoping this will add some life to Space Marine 2. And speaking of games that have been putting a lot of updates out, let's talk about Warhammer 40,000 Darktide. There's an entirely new character class coming to Darktide, and it is the Adeptus Arbites. These are the law enforcement officers of the Imperium, and they enforce the Lex Imperialis on every Imperial world. They are the perfect candidates to add to this group of rejects and bring a lot of firepower as well as discipline. I'm really excited to see what their weapons will be like and if they're able to bring things like the Cyber Mastiff in with them to their missions. And this is another update that you won't have to wait long for, as it's coming out June 23rd. But Darktide isn't the only game that the Arbites are coming to. Coming out a day later on June 24th is the Lex Imperialis update for Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. This update will add the new Arbites companion. It'll also add battle familiars like a Cyber Eagle or Cyber Mastiff. There's also the brand new Overseer archetype, as well as a new 15-hour story quest concerning the new Arbites companion. This update will end out the first season of Rogue Trader, and they've already got season 2 lined up and 2 more DLCs in the works. Owlcat really does put a lot of work into their updates and their games, and I can tell you it's very much appreciated by the community. For our last bit of PC and console game news, we got the first game trailer for Mechanicus 2. If you were there at the last Skulls event in 2024, we got the reveal trailer for Mechanicus 2 then. Well, the reveal trailer is nice and good, but gameplay is what everybody really wants to see. The kind of monotone green, blue, black battlefields of the first Mechanicus are gone and have been replaced with more varied environments that really reflect the Warhammer 40,000 universe. The UI looks cleaner, the combat looks updated, and most importantly, you get to play as the Leagues of Votann somewhere in this game. Or at least play against them. The first Mechanicus game is easily a top 5 Warhammer video game, and from what we've seen with this new game, it's probably going to be in that conversation as well. Rounding us out today is a new mobile game. This is Supremacy Warhammer 40,000, coming from the creators of Supremacy 1914. This is a grand strategy mobile game where you'll be able to take control of armies across entire systems in Warhammer 40,000. You can go ahead and pre-register for this game if you have Android, and it'll be coming to iOS very soon. This festival is one of my favorite times of the year outside of the Black Library celebration, and I was not really disappointed with this. I know a lot of people are wanting new games like Dawn of War 4 or Total War Warhammer 40,000, but give it time, I'm sure they're in the works. But thank you guys always for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about anything you saw in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one.